Servant of God from Ireland. My name is Rory Bracken. In 2019, while on a mission in Kenya, I went to the immigration office in Kisumu to try to extend my visa, of which I had 8 days left to legally stay in Kenya. To my surprise, while in the office of Kisumu, I was arrested, manhandled, mistreated, and brought to a police station, where the next day I was brought in front of a judge, and I was held on a 500,000 Kenyan shilling bond, which I didn't have. So I ended up going to Kadiagwa prison for 23 days till the bond was reduced and I could be released. I faced a criminal trial for 6 months, even though I was guilty of no crime. The police had no right to arrest me in the first place. This was all proven in the courts later. After a 6-month criminal trial, I was found not guilty, and the government of Kenya and the police and the prison service and the immigration were found guilty of a malicious prosecution against the servant of God. Sadly, this news was hidden from the nation of Kenya. I followed up with a civil lawsuit against the government, which took nearly 5 years. But in the 5th of March 2024, a judge awarded me 561,000 Kenyan shillings against the 4 defendants, to which I've not been paid to this day. The court system and AG's office, they don't acknowledge. They say they're dealing with it, but it's been 1.5 years since the official award was given, and they still fail to pay. My appeal is to President William Ruto, first of all, to make an official apology to a servant of God for putting a servant of God in prison wrongly in the nation of Kenya, to informing the people of Kenya of how a servant of God was mishandled and mistreated in the nation, and to pay the servant of God what the courts have ordered without delay. In 2023, in May of 23, I made a video warning President Ruto before the Gen Z happened of what was going to happen. And it's my appeal to President William Ruto to address the nation of Kenya and to do something about the corruption that is in the nation. Through my dealings with the court, in the case of the criminal case, I came to find out that the advocate representing me in the case, had no license to practice law, and he disappeared with my money. Another lady at the same time as me complained. In 2019, there was a newspaper article done where the police in Kisumu had said they were looking for the advocate who was involved and that they were going to arrest him. In actual fact, it said that they had already arrested his secretary, but nothing ever came of it. The man was never arrested. He was allowed to go free. So come nearly 5 years later, I dealt with more advocates who stole my money and never completed the job to get me paid in Kenya. So I started to do some investigation to find out those advocates had no license to practice law, and the people employing them are guilty of a criminal offence for employing them, knowing that they've no license to practice law. But this seems to be going on in the courts in Kisumu on a regular basis. I don't know how many more inactive lawyers are practicing law in Kisumu, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's more than those two. I've requested the police to follow up on the 2019 case and to answer why that man was never arrested, and why up to last year, with case law on social media, that he was still practicing in the courts of Kisumu with an inactive license, with no license. Basically criminals. That's what they are. Advocates who practice law without a license are criminals. So it is my prayer and plea for the nation of Kenya, and I love Kenya very much, but it's my prayer that the people of Kenya be told the truth of how a true servant of God who was sent by God to your nation was manhandled, mistreated. And even the compensation that was given wouldn't even cover the cost of what it cost me for a 6-month criminal trial while I was held in Kisumu against my will. So again, I wish that my story could be told, not only to Kenya, but to the world, because it did affect the ministry that God gave me. Because when people see you arrested, they think you don't serve God. But I give all the glory and honor to the Lord. I did the work of the Lord, and I got to see how people are inhumanely treated in those prisons in Kenya. I lived it. I was there. I'm not complaining about the prison because I was there to do the work of God, and many people were touched while I was in that prison for the 23 days. Many people, in actual fact, came to the Lord. And it's my plea and my prayer that the nation of Kenya be changed. I remember when the Lord sent me to Kenya in 2017, and he sent me with a message, and he told me there's 3 things need to stop in Kenya: tribalism, corruption, and bad churches. A big part, bad churches. Men of God who are not truly serving God, who are serving themselves. So again, this is my last words, and my plea is to William Samoei Ruto to make an apology to God's servant on behalf of the nation of Kenya on how they mishandled and mistreated, and to pay the compensation that the courts awarded. As I said, it wouldn't even cover the costs of what it cost the servant of God. It's not about the money. It's about the truth and about right. And the truth is the only thing that will set Kenya free. This is my testimony and message. And I pray that this story is told. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.